Hey guys, and welcome to the first of many Update 17 videos. With U17 finally here, you can expect a whole bunch of content in this next few days or so as we take a look at the new stuff in the game. However, we are going to start with a weapon that caught us all by surprise, and let's be honest, those of you that have followed my channel for a while will not be surprised that we're looking at these first. The new secondary weapon, the Twin Grakata. The Twin Grakata have been somewhat of a meme within the Warframe community for longer than I can remember. But none of us in our wildest dreams could have imagined that it would actually become a thing in the game. So what are we looking at in terms of the stats for this surprise of a weapon? Well, for a start, it's actually a secondary weapon despite needing two primaries to build, which actually did come as a bit of a shock. But as I'll talk about later, I'm actually seriously glad for this change of category. Damage wise, it has a pretty decent 18 damage a shot, with the majority, like its primary counterpart, coming in the form of impact with 7.3, 6 as puncture, and then 4.8 as slash damage. In addition to this, it has a fantastic 25% critical chance with a 200% multiplier and a fairly average 10% status chance. The Twin Grakata also comes with a massive 120 round magazine and an incredible 1320 total ammo if you take the first mag into account, meaning you can dakka to your heart's content. In fact, the good points of this weapon keep on coming, since quite unlike the hard to control normal Grakata, the Twin Grakata doesn't have much recoil at all and are actually really easy to control. Not only that, but they're also extremely accurate, meaning that longer range shots are very easy to make. To be honest, I can really only think of a couple of downsides to the Twin Grakata. Firstly is the fact that due to the high fire rate and the large magazine size, the ammo economy on it is pretty horrendous and really does need modding for. Even on those shorter missions, running out of ammo is pretty easy to do if you don't have ammo mutation. As well as that, with a reload of 3 seconds, this is one of the longer reloading secondary weapons out there. And since you fire so quickly, especially with lethal torrent on there, you are going to be reloading a lot, and this brings me up to the biggest problem with the Twin Grakata: mod space. Now you might be thinking this is a fairly strange thing to bring up. However, with crit mods being mandatory to bring up that base damage, mutation being mandatory for those longish missions, you really don't have any mod space left for quality of life mods like reload. And this has been a criticism I've had of many crit weapons. The amount of mandatory mods for these is way higher than non-crit weapons, and you really don't ever have room for anything to improve speed, like things like reload speed or magazine size, those quality of life improvements. Okay, so let's move on to starting to mod the Twin Grakatas. Now it does come with a dash polarity as standard. However, we're going to add 5 former, which is going to be 4 Vs and another dash. Now we've got a whole bunch of mods remaining the same between the 3 builds. We've got Hornet Strike for damage, Barrel Diffusion for multi-shot, Lethal Torrent also for multi-shot, but it's also going to add to that fire rate. We got Prime Pistol Mutation, which is going to convert ammo on the ground into pistol ammo, which is going to try and keep us firing until the cows come home. And we're going to have Prime Pistol Gambit for the crit chance to take that up to just under 72%. And Target Cracker, which is going to give us another 60% crit damage, taking that up to 3.2 times. Now, because we've only got room for 2 elementals, we're going to mod really for the heaviest things in the faction. So we're going to Convulsion and Prime Heater Charge for taking out things for like the Grineer Bombards. And this is going to be our Grineer focus build. For the Corpus, we're going to focus on shields with Deep Freeze and Convulsion. And in the Void, we're going to go with Convulsion and Pathogen rounds for the corrosive damage. And if you're running Corrosive Projection, switch out Convulsion with Deep Freeze. And then you've got Viral. And these 3 builds that I've got here will do you fantastically against all the factions. I am absolutely loving these things right now. So do I think it's worth the build cost of the 2 Grakatas and the former to max it? And the answer is, I mean, do you really have to ask? Of course it's worth it. It's 2 Grakata. Not only is it 2 Grakata and all the amusing stuff that comes with it, they are absolutely fantastic. Okay, so the reload's pretty long, but you can get over that. The damage output from these things, especially when you combine it with the fact that they're actually pretty damn accurate, the potential for these is absolutely insane. I've always loved the Grakata, the Standard, the Prisma, and now for us to be able to take 3 Grakata into a mission. All we need now is a Grakata for a melee weapon. I'd be done. I'd quite happily not use anything else again. Normally when I'm playing, I tend to switch weapons around quite a bit and mess about with a whole bunch of different things, different secondaries. But you know what? The Twin Grakata has immediately got me hooked. These things have already gone to the top as my favourite secondary weapon, and I find it difficult to see me actually playing anything else. Leveling was an absolute blast. Probably some of the most fun former I've done in a long time, especially since the last weapon I put former on was the Simulator. But in all seriousness, my own opinion aside, these weapons do fantastic damage, and I would say they're a decent alternative to the Axamati if those don't tickle your fancy. The damage it puts out with that amount of accuracy makes headshots over medium range actually fairly easy to do, and the ammo mutation pretty much means that you can dakka and dakka to your heart's content, and really never run into any ammo problems. The fact that it's a secondary weapon is fantastic, since it gives you access to Prime Pistol Gambit, as well as the fantastic Primed Ammo mutation, which really helps the Twin Grakatas out hugely. The only downside, and it's something that does have to be taken into account, is that reload. It is very easily done, especially at high levels. You get caught out in the middle of a reload in a fight, especially with that 3-second reload. Now in terms of modding differently, it's difficult to say what to change. I guess you could take ammo mutation or even target cracker off for a reload mod if the reload's too bad for you to deal with. But to be honest, due to the crit based nature of the weapon, it's really tough to recommend any changes you can make to the weapon, purely because of mod space issues that you run into. But in essence, fantastic damage, awesome crit chance and great accuracy. This little package born out of a Warframe meme is not only delivering on something the community have wanted for a long time, but an absolutely brilliant fun as well. It's well worth adding to your arsenal and maxing immediately. As always guys, many thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more Update 17 videos in the next few days, and I shall see you in the next episode.